Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
Every who down in Who Newville liked the holidays a ton. But where to get great prices on gifts, they had no idea. None. They searched and they searched for great gifts under $25. Gifts for spouses and friends and even their toddlers. When suddenly one who shouted, Walmart has what you want, knowing they have Lego, Tree Hut, and no prices to flaunt. So they enjoy the holiday season as Who's often do. Cheering and shouting, Walmart has incredible gifts. Who knew? Find gifts they'll love under $25 at Walmart.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. Enjoy comfortable rooms and friendly service when you stay with Hilton instead. Save up to 25% this season when you book with Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Terms apply.
Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service. Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're always about the positive vibes here on the show. And with me right now, I've got a very special guest. He has been featured on AEW and Ring of Honor television, currently a part of Pro Wrestling Symphony, a brand new promotion in the Nashville, Tennessee area. I'm pleased to welcome the one and only Colby Carter. Welcome, Colby, to Wrestling with Heart.
Man, that was a great intro. I need to take you on the road with me. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure. So, talk to me about your childhood and upbringing. Where do you grow up?
So, born and raised Hendersonville, Tennessee, so a little bit north of you. Still in Hendersonville, I guess technically Gallatin, so right, up the road a little bit. But went to Beach High School, went to T.W. Hunter, went to Beach Elementary as well. So kind of stayed around Hendersonville, grew up. Grandparents were a little bit in Nashville as well, so a little bit connections everywhere, Sumner County, Davidson County, but I've been born and raised here my whole life.
Wrestling, it seems like in Nashville, it's just got this rich history, with the Jarretts, and of course you had Lawler with Memphis, and so many other people that have passed through the area over the years. Was that always something that you were a fan of growing up?
Loved wrestling from the first time I watched it. And I think most of us that are on the independent scene or professional level, I think we all were fans of it at one point in time, right? But was always a fan of it. And I played football, little league, high school, college after that. But it was always something in the back of my mind, like, man, I wish I would have done this, and going to a bunch of the independent shows locally or even going to watch, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, whatever, I was always the guy sitting in the crowd, like, man, I think I could have done this. And not saying it's easy, not saying anyone can get out of the crowd and do it, but I just always thought in my mind, like, I think I could do this. So I've kind of been stuck to it. There was a time in college when I kind of stopped paying attention so much to it because I was playing college football and stuff like that. But something always drew me back to it. You know what I mean? I just happened to find it years ago and just picked right back up on it.
And it's like there's an escapism with wrestling. If you're struggling or going through something in your life, you got to find that escape.
100%.
And so I think wrestling is a perfect vehicle for that. Who would you say were some of your favorites to watch as a kid?
Man, Jeff Hardy had a chokehold on everyone in my generation, I think, because he was so cool, right? I've always been a fan of Jeff, of course, like everyone else. But AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels are like my top two out of three because those guys they're kind of built like me, where like I'm not 6'4", I'm not 260, I'm about 220 and like right at 6 foot. So like I'm not some gargantuan monster. So like I always gravitated toward those guys because like they could do stuff, or I could do stuff that I thought I could do stuff that they could do. You know what I mean? And just the relatability was there for me. And those guys, I mean, they're the best in the ring. Sean was one of the best outside the ring. Everything they did was just so good. And it's still AJ's still so good at what he does.
And it's amazing too that you can see these guys, they're not like, 6'5", 300 pounds, but they're larger than life characters and you can
Yeah.
believe in what they're doing. And amazing that with the stunts that they pull and the way that they're, like you said, like their high flying abilities and just the way that they're just it's flawless what they're
Yeah,
doing
and
in the
like,
ring.
you know, and back in the day when Sean was popular, it's a land of giants. So Jerry Lynn was one of the guys that coached me, and I asked him a while ago, I said, "Man, did you ever wear lifts in your boots? Because you're not a very tall guy." And he said, "I just had to do things that would make me stand out because I was in a land of giants." And the same goes for HBK and AJ Styles. Even now, it's more accepted to not be a giant, right? To be a freak of nature. There's still a few of them out there. There's a lot of them out there. But yeah, when you get a guy like Shawn Michaels standing next to Diesel or Razor Ramon, like those guys are people don't realize how big Scott Hall was. Like he's ginormous. And Sean's 5'9" on a good day, probably, and it's just I was just always drawn to that because we kind of had the same mindset, same stature, and it's like, man, like, and this guy's the best in the ring. He's the best, hands down, best in-ring performer of all time. I don't know if I need to die on that hill, but I will die on that hill if I need to. So I think a lot of people would agree with that.
Oh, I mean, certainly Sean, Bret Hart, Eddie
Mm,
Guerrero, so many
yes,
people,
yeah.
so many people, I feel like around that 225, 230 mark that just really like transcended, you know, going from cruiserweight to heavyweight and being able to transition into that division really well.
Oh, I saw a clip of Eddie Guerrero the other day. It was in a tag team match. It was him and he was going against Rey Mysterio. I can't remember who all it was against. And Ray ref's distracted. Eddie comes in, hits a helo on him, flips the pin over. The ref gets him out, and he turns to the crowd and like just bragging, like, "I got him, man. Listen to the count. 1, 2." And he turned back around when 3 hit and realized that Ray had done something as well and turned the pin back over. But just his facial expressions, like you really believed he thought they were going to win. He thought they'd won. But just little details like that Eddie would do, the lying, cheating, and stealing stuff. That was just stuff we'd never seen before. You'd never seen
No.
a heel like get cheered like that until a little bit later, like NWO and stuff, when it was cool to be the bad guy. But dude, like he's supposed to be a heel, and everyone cheered him because it was so creative. It was so different and refreshing from everything else that we've had.
And now when you see people like Dominic Mysterio do it, like that callback,
Yeah.
it's like you see how it's influenced in people, the inspiration that people have gotten, from Eddie Guerrero. And it really was an original idea, and now you see, his influence really live on with so many of the wrestlers today. But back to your story. So, did you know very young that wrestling was something you wanted to do?
So I told this story to someone else recently. So I was in, I would say elementary school, middle school, we all wrestled on trampolines, right? I had a buddy of mine, Andy Joyce and Greg Joyce. I would go over to their house and their dad would video us, and we would have a full card of pay-per-view. And we had one, or pay-per-view, right? We had one that was No Mercy, and it wound up snowing, and his dad titled it Snow Mercy. I mean, we're in middle school, so we think it's the greatest thing ever. And we had, trampoline, we had entrance music, we had a curtain. So like that was something that we grew up doing and enjoying. Never would I ever think like people are going to come pay watch me do this one day, right? Like we're just kids. Like I think I'm HBK, right? I'm not, but I think I am. And then I got all the way to high school. I'm still playing football at the time. And wrestling isn't cool at that time, right? You're like a closet fan because you don't want people to think you know that you like wrestling. But I still kept up with it. And I remember I wrote a paper, I think it was an econ class, Miss Middleton. She wanted us to write a story, a paper on what you want to be when you get older. And I remember I wrote 2 papers, and I'm bad at writing papers. School's not my thing. Um, I wrote 1 page on being a professional football player and the other being a professional wrestler. And I remember I got up to give my presentation, and I took the wrestling one and put it in the desk because I didn't want people to make fun of me, right? So I went with the football one, and I think about that all the time. Like I have a lock screen that's on my phone. It's like just remember that kid when you were little had a dream. Like make sure you don't give up on him. And I think of that all the time because that sheet I could have given that, and everyone would be like, "Oh, people would have never remembered that," you know. But like I remember being like, "No, I want to do what's best for like everyone else be cool," and then I put the other one in the desk, you know. And I think about that all the time, and like I said, it just stayed around well, forever and ever. It seemed like, but that was a big moment for me. I feel like that I look back on now.
Yeah, I mean, you always never forget those moments where like growing up, like you wanted to be a wrestler, like really wanted to
Yeah.
pursue the industry. So you start training. I've had so many people on the show I've talked to about their experiences with training and how rigorous the schedule is and the work that you got to put in. What was your experience like learning how to wrestle?
So for me, the athletic stuff wasn't very difficult. I don't mean to say that to be facetious, but like for football, I mean, I've always been a pretty good athlete. So that stuff's not that difficult for me. If I see something once, I can probably replicate it. It might take me one or two times. But as far as like the residual selling, the facial expressions, and then just getting back in the cardio shape. So when we first went to the school where I met the owners of Pro Wrestling Symphony, Pat, Connor, and Rory, we're at the school, and Tom Latimer, Jerry Lynn, Jake Dumas are my trainers there. Well, everyone that was there except for me had already been through school. They've already been getting bookings. They've already been doing everything. So I see them running through spots on the floor like before. I don't even know. I don't even know how. How could you possibly call a six-move spot? I can't imagine what that's like at this point in time. You know. Well, then we got to where I was doing like, okay, here's what a lockup. I did that for 2 weeks. The first person I ever locked up with was Jerry Lynn, who has surgically repaired neck. I was scared to death. So I locked up with Jerry, locked up with Camille Brickhouse, and then locked up with like some of the students and stuff. We did that for 2 weeks straight. Most boring thing I've ever done in my life. But what does typically every match start with? It's a lockup. If you're not good at your lockup, people are gonna be like, no thanks, immediately, you know? So we did that for a couple weeks. And then we got into more of the in-ring stuff, which I really enjoyed except for like the cardio part of it. That was always, but we got to where, all right, here's what a suplex looks like. Here's a snap suplex. There's a stalling suplex. There's a regular suplex. And I'll never forget there was a moment when I gave my first snap suplex, and Jake Dumas is sitting in the corner to my right, and Tom is sitting on the floor in a chair on my left. Give a suplex, and I sit up and look up at Jake, and because I'm looking for approval or denial, right? Like that sucked, or like, hey man, that's pretty good, or you should burn your boots right now, you know. So I give a suplex, and I look up at Jake, and Jake has this look at Tom, like I was like, oh no, and I look at Tom, and Tom's looking back at Jake, and not to make my head too big, they said that was good, do it again. But I saw something right then and there, like, okay. And I think they saw something right then and there that was like, okay, like, I think we can make something of this guy. He's raw. He doesn't know anything yet, but we can mold him to what we need to. So I wound up, our class would start around 7:30 and it would go until 9 or 9:30. So I got to where I would meet with Tom Latimer 3 or 4 days a week from 5 to 7. And then I would go through class 7:30 to 9:30 and then get home like 11 o'clock. I did that for an entire year nonstop. Didn't miss a single practice, didn't miss a single training day, went extra if I needed to. Like my wife and my son made the ultimate sacrifice for that year for me to like go chase this crazy dream. So, hey man, this year is going to kind of suck, but I got to do what I got to do. But man, Jake Dumas used to kill us in the cardio stuff, man. His famous quote, he texted me the other day, and all I sent back was find a corner. We would be doing drills, and he would say, all right, everyone find a corner. And we would do grape squishers in the corner. All the wrestlers know what grape squishers are. Rope, hands on the ropes, your wrists not holding on, and it's high knees in the corner for minutes at a time. He'd tell bump, you go down, hit a burpee, pop your way back up, back into high knees. And then we did set goes, every drill possible. But being from the football background I am, I knew like if I get good at this stuff, all the mental stuff, because it's hard to think when you're tired.
Hmm.
If I'm in really good shape and my mind's sharp, I don't have to worry about dropping someone on there. I have someone's lives in my hands, like I cannot mess up here, and that was a big part of it. And I think Jake tried to kill me some days, but it was all for the better, and I can't thank him enough for that now.
It's a risk, it's a grind because you
Yeah,
are, taking so much punishment out there, and you have to really work with your partner to make
yeah.
sure that you put on the best match or performance possible. So you got to really like make sure everybody's playing their part. And when you're learning from your trainers, Tom and Jake and all these people, what kinds of things are they telling you, like pointers that they're giving you that you're taking away from your sessions and things that you've applied to today currently in your career?
So a big thing with them is placement and footwork. A lot of guys, and that I think that's like fundamental stuff that should be drilled in people's heads from the very beginning. You don't see it as much, I feel like, from some other schools. There's a lot of good schools out there, but I see some guys, I'm like, oof. But like just the basics, like with footwork, like if I'm doing a leapfrog hip toss, I don't need to pitter patter my feet. I can take one step and be right there if I need to, and just make sure your ring awareness where the space is, where the ropes are. You don't want to like try to suplex your guy into the ropes unless it's called, right? But stuff like that, like it's very little stuff, but it's stuff I still think about all the time. And then selling and facial expressions, like all of that goes so.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Far. And the main thing they told me from the very beginning is less is more. You can do a million moves and people may cheer. If you do four things really well and tell a good story, people will care so much more because it's more about the story than anything. It should be, at least.
Yeah,
Um,
you have to, make sure that people are invested in what you're doing. And so you make,
100%.
so you got to really make sure that the story is something that's going to attract and appeal to the audience.
Yeah, if they're not involved in the story, they don't really care about anything like within them. They're doing all these crazy moves for no reason. And like I get it. You can get over by doing a double moonsault, but like, do I want to do that every match? Like then people they just kind of get bored with it. So I'd much rather tell a good story, do a little less, and really get stuff over to the crowd and everyone go home happy and safe.
Now you put the work in and you learn so much from your trainers. Let's talk about your first few matches in the business. Were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you afraid? What was
Oh
going through your
my
mind?
gosh, I was a nervous wreck. My first match ever was against Damian Lane, and it was at Redcon One Gym in Nashville. Or I guess it's technically Nashville. It was off Harding Place. And I was a nervous wreck. I remember I got there and I'm meeting and greeting everyone, and the first thing that one of the owners of the promotion says, he said, "What's your name?" And I said, "Colby." He goes, "Cool, great job selling tickets." Like there was over, I want to say 350 people of my tickets that I sold there. I mean, it was the most incredible, nerve-wracking thing. I get there. I've never met Damien before. I meet Damien, and he is a walk and talk veteran. He's been doing it forever, and it's my first match. So I'm a guy. I like to be overly prepared. Tom Latimer told me probably 6 months before I had my first match, like you're good now. Like you need to go have matches. But I wanted to make sure, like first impression is very important. You know what I mean for me. So I have that first match with Damien, and we're talking beforehand, and it's very "Hey man, I'll see you out there." I'm like, "What do you mean? Like, I need to know every single step that's going on here." But that's just how he works. And it was now that I look back on it, it was the easiest match I've ever had. He made me look like $1 million. And he told someone afterwards, he said, "You should have heard when we wrestled, it sounded like Hulk Hogan pinned me, because all my friends and family were there. But it was, and I will forever respect him for that. And then my second match was against Adam Jacobs, kicked me in the back of the head, and knocked me out for a second. And it was a totally different match. It was a lot of stuff called in the back, so totally different matches, but really good way for me to dive in the deep end and see what happens. And Adam is an absolute pro. It was fantastic to work with, and he realized it was just a mistiming on my behalf, so I got kicked in the back of the head. But now I learned to get out of the way if he tells me to get out of the way. So
It's a small
But
price
both
to
those
pay.
guys, it is, and both those guys were so great, man. And it just seems like it's been like an upward trend after that, which I'm very thankful for. And I'm loving what I'm doing right now. So,
So far in your career, you've worked against a lot of different people. Who have been some of your favorite opponents that you've gotten to be in the ring with over the years?
man, one of the guy I wrestled Dijak a couple months ago, and that was an eye-opening experience for one thing, just because he's been where I want to go. So being able to listen to him, feedback from the match and put together a match and how he thinks about stuff, it's different. I haven't been around someone that does that. So Dijak, I worked Jay Lethal probably like within a year of being in the business, and awesome. That was until that might still be my favorite match ever. The pacing that we went at was very Ring of Honor AEW style, which was really fun for me because I've never done one like that before. Everything was fast, everything was fluid, and Jay is one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life and one of the most professional guys I've been around. And those two matches were just so fantastic. Now, I have some other ones like one of my best friends, Tyler Shoop. I've worked him a couple times. I love working Tyler Shoop. Um, Toby Farley's another one that I love being in there with. There's a lot of guys that are on my list that I still want to get in the ring with. But I'm also, all those guys I've had those matches with have got me ready for all the next match. You know what I mean? So reps upon reps. And they've all been good reps. And that's very important to me. So,
Yeah, I mean, he's been in the ring with so many people, and we got to talk about Pro Wrestling Symphony. I mean, this is the hottest promotion in Nashville right now. I've had the chance to go to one of the shows recently. It is amazing getting the chance to see so many people, including yourself, out there. Talk to me about how you got involved with it and what's your experience been like so far with the promotion.
man, so like I mentioned earlier, I met Rory, Connor, and Pat at the wrestling school with Jake and Tom and Jerry Lynn. And we just kind of got separated after a while. They left the school and was going into other ventures, and I had kind of left, but I was still sticking around because I needed a ring to go to practice. And I know, like, I knew in the back of my mind, I was like, they're trying to cook up something, and I hope I'm involved. I hope they let me be a part of whatever they're doing. And then Connor, Pat, and Rory group text me was, hey man, do you have like some time to meet up in Hendersonville? And I'm like, yeah, you name the place. I haven't seen you guys in forever. I'd love to sit down and have dinner with you. And so we go have dinner at Yokohama that's in Hendersonville. And I see Rory getting out a laptop. And I told this story before, and they gave me so much grief for this, but I'm going to stick to my guns because I was there when it happened. So Rory gets the laptop out, turns it around, and he's showing me this laptop, and it's all these numbers and reasons why you could run a show in Nashville. You have X amount of visitors in the city of Nashville every weekend. You have X amount of people on Broadway. You have X. You have all this. And I look at him. I said, I don't know why you're trying to sell me on whatever you guys are doing because I'm in whatever it is. And then they took their business cards, and this is where they killed me. I swear to you, they threw them things on the table like, wow. They said they slid them, but I remember very differently. So they put them on the table, and I grabbed every single one of them. And I was like, Rory Mill. I was like, Pro Wrestling Symphony. What is this? It was like, we're starting a wrestling promotion. I was like, what? And then that just kind of was like, yeah, dude, whatever you guys need from me, I'm in. And I'm in, and like whatever I can do to help, I want to help. And I knew that they were going to do things the right way. And I'd like to think I'm a very good judge of character. And I knew those guys were the best. And I knew that they were going to want to be the best and put on the best show. And after the first show, again, I'm working Dijak at the first show. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what a dream match for me. And like I learned so much from that. But not only that, like it's not about me, it's about all of them. Like the roster that they put together, the talent that they brought in, the production of the show, the venue of the show, the care for the show and the crowd to have a good time, along with it being a very family friendly atmosphere. Most professional run independent show I've been on. Not even close. It's not even
Yeah,
close. And
win-win.
I and yeah, and I mean, like, how could I not want to help these guys do well? They're the best people, they're very professional. Everything they do has a reason to it. Um, a lot of these indies, man, like they're in a bar late at night, Saturday night. I get it. Like it's, part of the clientele, whatever. But doing a Sunday show in Nashville at 2 o'clock. So I mean, you're going up against some of the NFL stuff right now, and we're still drawing really well. The shows are making sense. There's stories intertwined to every single person that's on the show. I mean, that's what it's all about. We were talking about that earlier, right? Like a lot of the indies is just like, let's throw this on the wall, see what happens. Well, that didn't work. Let's move this guy over here. Is there any story there? Nah, it won't matter. Like these guys care about the story, they care about the direction of the stories, they care about the shows, and more importantly, they care about the people that are there to watch the shows. They want everyone to have a good time and a safe atmosphere and the best venue in Nashville. It's not even close.
What's your ultimate goal? Both with Pro Wrestling Symphony and beyond. Do you have like future
First and f-
aspirations?
First and foremost, I want Pro Wrestling Symphony to be the biggest wrestling promotion in the Southeast, especially in Tennessee. We're already there in Tennessee. But to get it to be something in the Southeast, I mean, we're already on IWTV and all that as well, right? But obviously, the main goal is to get signed. Now, whether it be WWE, AEW, any of those three-letter ones, TNA, Ring of Honor, whatever. But I mean, that's the main thing is the main thing, and that's what it's always going to be. And um, so yeah, I mean, but the immediate goal, Symphony to the moon. I don't know, I'm probably going the wrong way. To the moon there, and then getting signed down the road.
Yeah, I mean, seeing the shows and everything that you're doing seems like you got a bright future ahead of you. And I want to talk
Thank you.
about, you're welcome. I want to talk about the upcoming show that you have coming up December 7th, Brooklyn Bowl. I want to talk about this cool thing that you're doing. We're a show, Wrestling with Heart, that talks about giving back to your community. And what Pro Wrestling Symphony is doing right now, it's really second to none. The food bank drive that you're having. Let's talk about that. And what is it about the food bank and helping out in your community that means a lot to you?
So, I mean, so by trade, I'm a personal trainer, run a gym, right? So I'm always about helping people. That's always been my favorite thing. And again, the symphony guys, they're the most professional people. They get it. Like times are rough right now, man, and we all understand that. And not just now, but like people always need help. And being able to do something where like we can donate food to a food drive. I mean, it's 10 cans of food. Here, we'll give you a free shirt. We just want the food. You know what I mean? But being able to help out anyone that's local in our area, and again, it's not something we're doing for a business ploy or a business drive or anything like that. Like genuinely good people want to help out genuinely good people. And I really, again, Symphony just knows what they're doing, and I just think they're the best around, man. And I just think that being able to help people that are right in our backyard should be first priority, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, everybody needs help one way or another, with
Yeah,
things. And so you just never know what people are going through.
right.
And to see people that, can't afford food or can't afford water or are homeless, uh, so much is going on. We got to be there for them, as much as
Absolutely.
possible.
I mean, we're getting paid to go out there and perform, man. I'm more than happy to donate whatever I can to help out people that are less fortunate than I am right now. Because you never know. You're one instance away from being one of those people, unfortunately. So
Was there a particular moment or charity that you were involved with in your career that meant a lot to you and was very heartwarming for you to be involved with?
there was I hope I don't get too emotional talking about this. So my best friend growing up, one of the Joyces that I mentioned earlier, Andy Joyce, he got really sick in high school and passed away. And Make a Wish was like his big thing. And Make a Wish granted him and his family tickets to WrestleMania 20. It was in Madison Square Garden. I mean, this is a long time ago now. But to see the way that they treated their family and the memory of him and all the other things that came with it, like the meet and greets and all the wrestlers, like meeting all of them. Of course, meeting them when I was in school was really cool, right? Like in freshman middle school was really awesome.
Mhm.
But seeing the things they did for the family and stuff like that was always like being a professional wrestler is really cool. Like being able to be on TV, to make a lot of money, all that stuff's really cool. But being able to do stuff like that where you can give back, just signing a piece of paper means the world to one of those kids and like just spending the time with them. Like, so that was like a big moment for me. It was like, this is more than just getting out there and putting on a show. Like this is really like about like help change someone's life like that. And how fortunate are we to be able to do that if we can, you know?
Yeah, and I mean the fact that you're going out there and seeing these kids, you're really seeing what they're going through and you being there for them, it really makes all the difference because
Yeah.
they're going through so much in their lives and you know to not think about what they're going through just for a couple hours, it
Yeah.
means so much.
And we always talk about like suspending belief when we're wrestling. You know, you got to suspend the belief, right? But also, like you said, like let's suspend like everything they have going outside of these doors. Like let's entertain them long enough where they can come to a show. They know they can get away for an hour and a half or two and not have to worry about anything but just enjoy the show. You know, and that's the smallest thing we can do. Doing a food drive and helping out with charities and stuff is the next step for that. And I'm very, very proud of Symphony for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an incredible thing that you're doing, and Pro Wrestling Symphony definitely it's making some waves in the Middle
Yeah.
Tennessee area. So best of luck with everything. Colby,
Thanks,
I just
man.
want to say thank you for coming on to Wrestling with Heart. It means a lot to me and to my listeners and viewers that are watching this on YouTube. Where can people find out more about you on social media as well as Pro Wrestling Symphony?
So, Pro Wrestling Symphony, our next show, December 7th. So, it's the first Sunday every month, starting December. We're taking January off. Everyone's got holidays and stuff, right? And then we're back February. So, make sure you look out for that card. There's a main event that is a steel cage match. I myself have never seen a steel cage match on the independent scene. So, I'm very interested in Shane Mercer and Mad Dog Conley there. We have our tournament. That'll be wrapping up in February to crown the first ever men's and women's champion of Pro Wrestling Symphony. My Instagram is the Colby Carter on Instagram, no spaces, TheColbyCarter. Same thing on X, I almost called it Twitter. Same thing on X, Instagram, same thing. So I really appreciate you having me on, man. It means a whole lot, and
Yeah.
just sit here and listen to me babble about wrestling, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot to have you on, and you're more than welcome to come back.
thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thank you. You as well, man.
Bye-bye. This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. You know, one of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.